Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back! So, we are back in the universe of Dark Souls 2. So, I've done a couple things off screen. It's been a long time since I recorded this game. I kind of recorded the first however many episodes before this point a few weeks ago, and I just have been uploading them because I recorded them all at once. So, since the last episode, I've actually beaten the game a couple more times, and I think I've, gotten a bit better at it. So, I did redo the stats a little bit. I reduced my health. I have more dexterity, more endurance, and more adaptability now, and I took away some things I just don't need, like vitality and attunement, that just weren't important at all. And I also got some souls. I have a lot of souls, in fact, 113,000. I think we left off with 0. And the reason for that is, if we look in my inventory here, I killed the Rotten on New Game Plus. So you just burn a bonfire aesthetic, and you can kill him again, and if you kill the Rotten on New Game Plus, you get this old dead one soul, which I believe that you can use to make a spell, and I don't remember what it is, but yeah, you can do that if you want to. It probably makes a weapon as well, but we already got some pretty solid weapons. So I'm going to be upgrading the Black Steel Katana to plus 10, and to do that I need to buy some Titanite chunks, because I do not have enough. I think I need, I'm not sure. We'll just buy 5 here to start with, because I'm going to be upgrading another weapon as well, not just this Black Steel Katana, but we definitely want to get the Katana to plus 10, and it's going to be doing so much damage, because it scales really well with dexterity, and I have 47 dexterity now. It will also use a slab to get it to plus 10, and we also got another weapon called the Hunter's Black Bow, and I'm going to be using this Hunter's Black Bow as well, just because for the next few areas it's really nice to have a ranged weapon of some kind. So we're going to need to buy some Titanite from this guy. It is actually a little bit cheaper to buy from this guy than it is to buy from his daughter for whatever reason. So if you need to buy regular slabs for the first 10 slabs, always buy here. We also have this Bellkeeper's Bow. I've never even seen this one before. But anyway, Hunter's Black Bow is, I believe, the best bow in the game with a dex build. So we need some large Titanite shards now. And luckily, after you get the King's Ring, the Stone Trader sells a lot more types of Titanite, so I think we'll need 6. Yeah. So after you get the King's Ring, after you beat Velstadt, you can buy a lot more types of Titanite from her, and if you want to upgrade weapons at this point in the game, it's really easy to do that. So we'll get that up to plus 6, plus 7. We need, looks like 2 more Titanite chunks to get it to plus 9, and then we have the last Titanite slab already. She only sells 1 Titanite slab, but that's okay. So you can only get like 1 weapon to plus 10 if you're buying all of your Titanite from her, but that's alright, because we already have a couple just from random pickups in the game. Okay, so we now have a Hunter's Black Bow plus 10, just like that, and I still have a lot of souls left over, so I probably went a little bit overkill. So I now have 2 plus 10 weapons. I'm not going to be infusing either one of them because that reduces the scaling, and we don't want to reduce the scaling. Even with my Archdrake robes, I got rid of all my vitality, but I'm still underweight. So the only thing that we need now is arrows. And what type of arrows exactly, you may be asking? Well, there's several different traders you can go to in the game. You can go buy like fire arrows, lightning arrows, magic arrows, dark arrows, regular arrows. Yeah, there's a lot of different types of arrows, essentially, is what I'm saying. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going to the Undead Crypt. I don't know why that was so hard to find on the screen there. And we're going to be buying some dark arrows, just because dark arrows are pretty good against the coming up boss that I actually want to use ranged against. I believe he's weak to dark magic, and I don't know if that's actually true or not. I just have used dark arrows against him before, and it went pretty well. So that's what we're going to be doing here. So my bow is going to be doing a ridiculous amount of damage with the amount of dexterity that I have. I don't know if using elemental arrows works with scaling or not. It probably doesn't, now that I think about it, but anyway, it's still going to be doing a good amount of damage, even though we're going to be using dark arrows, and technically I don't think any sort of dark damage scales with dexterity. But that's not important. What's important is the fact that we have a bow now, we have ranged attacks, which I personally think are really good for later on in the game. So we'll buy some arrows from them. We probably don't need 984, so I'll buy like 400 arrows, and that should yeah, this will definitely be enough for the rest of the game. And then I'll, maybe use the rest of my souls on a level or 2 at the Emerald Herald, and so we now have tons of arrows. Definitely enough to get us through the last few levels, because there's not that much left in the game. There's not very many bosses left to fight. There's not really that much to do. And the areas that we're going to go through shouldn't take very long either. So we'll go back to Majula really quick, level up maybe a couple of times, and then we'll get started on the finale of the game. I'm excited. Hopefully you're excited as well. Okay, level up at the lady. So one thing that I did as well is I did increase my adaptability a little bit. Oh, we can definitely get some levels here. I may want to see how much I can level up adaptability from this point on. I don't know if that's a good idea just for level 1 agility, but every few levels that you get in agility increases your invincibility frames when you roll, and that's super handy. Let's just get up to 51 dex, because the amount of damage that we'll be doing with our katana right now is just going to be ridiculous because it scales so well with dex damage. And I do have another character with like 60 dex, and I'm not using the black steel katana. I'm using a different type of katana called the manslayer katana, which actually doesn't do as much physical damage, so I don't think it's as good, but like it's just insane how much he tears people apart, Lisa. So now we're going to go to the Shaded Woods. And I apologize if I'm just kind of going fast now. I just wanted to get those weapons upgraded. I wanted to purchase those arrows and just be done with it, but I also wanted to show off what I was doing just so, you know, everyone gets the picture. Alright, so now that you have the King's Ring, and if you don't remember what that's from, it's from beating Vilstadt. You want to make sure you equip it, and there's a couple doors in the game called King's Doors. I think there's 3 actually, but we're going to be going to the first one here, and it will only open when you have the King's Ring. So now that we have the King's Ring, we can go through the door, and that item right there is called the Red Tearstone Ring, and I won't be using it, but it makes you do more damage when your HP is low. So that can be a decent ring if you're really good at avoiding damage, and I wouldn't say I'm great at any of the bosses coming up because, well, I don't enjoy the latter part of the game very much, so usually what I'll do is I'll create characters and I'll get through like most of the game, but I'll stop before we get to this point. What do I want to wear? I guess we'll just stick with the Ring of Steel Protection just in case. Okay, so this area is called Aldia's Keep, and we're just going to be running through this area because this is my least favorite area in the game. Aldia's Keep and the 2 areas that come after it are just, I don't enjoy them very much, so we're just going to be running through them as quickly as possible for the most part. Also, Lucatiel will be here if you talk to her at all 4 locations that are previously where she's at in the game. I don't think we talked to her in Black Gulch, but she's in Black Gulch, she's in the Earthen Peak, she's in a couple other places as well. I can't remember them all off the top of my head, but yeah, you talk to her 4 times, and you have to summon her 4 times to fight bosses, and if she survives all 4 of those fights, or it might be 3 of them, anyway, if she survives all the times that you summon her to fight bosses, and she doesn't die in the boss fight, she'll give you her gear, which is pretty cool looking, and also a sword that she uses. So there you go. If you want that, you have to summon Lucatiel. So we'll wield the bow here, and we're going to get invaded by an NPC because that's, you know, just what happens. And this guy looks familiar, right? That's because this is Lucatiel's brother. Why he invades you, I don't know. It seems like a jerk thing to do, but this is one of the reasons why I wanted to get the Hunter's Black Bow. Yeah, we're just gonna destroy him. Oh, he's got his shield up now. So when he gets his shield up, you want to go in close so he lowers his shield and like takes a swing at you, and every single time we hit him with an arrow he gets like stunned. So this invader is just kind of a joke with archery or with magic. In fact, you know, dark magic or even regular magic can, you know, just tear this guy apart, and he's not really much of a contest. He's not too difficult with melee either, but there we go. Astiel of Mira has been vanquished. Pretty easy fights. And then we can move on into Aldia's Keep itself. I don't really understand the lore of why he invades you. Maybe he went hollow, maybe he like saw you with Lucatiel and he's like, hey, you know, we're not having any of that. I'm not entirely sure the story behind it, because I usually just, you know, skip through most of the dialogue in this game. Not that interested in what's going on there. Okay, so there are a ton of items in Aldia's Keep. In this area, right there, that item is called a Northern Ritual Band +2, and it will give you, I think, 30% more spell uses, but reduce your hit points by 50%. And obviously, if you're not a spellcaster, it's not useful at all. If you are a spellcaster, it's still not that useful because you lose half your hit points. But if you're okay with that, it can be a pretty powerful ring. Also, we can come over here and we can get some bonfire aesthetics. There is also a man in this area. He's on the lowest floor that you can talk to. And if you are hollow, we are not hollow at the moment, if you couldn't tell. But if you are hollow, he will tell you to go kill some people, And you can either kill the people, which is mostly like citizens of Majula. It's mostly like NPCs that you've freed throughout the game. He'll ask you to kill them and bring them the items they drop. So you can either kill them, or you can do various tasks for them and then get those items a legit way and not have to kill them. But if you do that for a while, he asks you to kill like 4 people, and you do that, and then he gives you like a powerful spell called Forbidden Sun and some other stuff. But we're not going to be doing that either, just because it takes a lot of time, and the rewards are not going to be useful at all during this playthrough anyway. Okay, so there is one bonfire before the boss here. We are going to be grabbing it. I don't see us dying against the boss, but there is always a possibility. I have died against this boss before. It was on New Game Plus, not New Game, so he did a lot more damage and he was a lot scarier, but still, it is possible to die versus this boss. So even though it's one of the easier bosses in the game, just to be cautious, we're going to go light that hidden bonfire. And then there's going to be a couple doors up here with trolls behind them. So you just want to run up to the door, the troll will bust through, and then you can just run behind the troll. Now the troll will pursue you, so you got to be careful with that. Just don't look behind you. Oh no! It's so scary, I know, right? And then there's another door here, and there's going to be another troll bursting through. There we go. And now we can finally run on to the boss. Now, it's not that bad the first time you're running through, you can just run past the trolls. But in the future, if you die versus this boss, you pretty much have to kill the trolls or be really good at dodge rolling to get past them, because they will try to attack you. Okay, so this boss is the Guardian Dragon, and this is the reason why I like to have a bow versus this boss. It's very handy, because he will fly around. We haven't seen it yet, but he will like fly up into the air and stuff where you can't hit him very easily with melee. So it's a lot easier just to have a bow versus this boss. So there we go. See, he's in the air. He spits fireballs and stuff at you. And he'll also have an attack, which we're seeing right now, where he does this, and if he does that, you want to run the heck away, because he's going to, like, cover the entire ground with flame. So you just want to make sure you're on the opposite side of the arena from where the Guardian Dragon is. You can melee this boss. You can kill him with, like, a club or a sword or something. It's just really irritating, and I wouldn't recommend it for people that have, you know, short amounts of patience. Because essentially, you have to like run up to him every single time he lands on the ground, and half the time he just flies away if you do that. But, you know, you have to wait for him to like stomp his legs or swing his head at you, which he can do as well. It's just a lot easier to use either magic or a bow. So he is moving his dragon breath along after us, very slowly, but he is moving along after us, which is why I'm, you know, dodge rolling out of the way a couple times and kind of taking things cautiously. So large fireball, that thing does have a large hit radius, so it is kind of easy to get hit by that if you don't dodge out of the way. That should kill him. Boom. Okay, so very, very easy boss with range. I don't think I was even hit there at all, so yeah, it's kind of hard to die with range, but I have died before by using melee, just, you know, due to being dumb, due to being hit by the fire, it is possible to die there. Anyway, so now we move on past Aldia's Keep, and that wasn't bad at all. I'm not even sure why I was complaining about Aldia's Keep, or why I said, oh, this area sucks. It does kind of suck if you have to, like, fight all the trolls and stuff. I don't know what it is about the area, just, it can be really annoying if you die to the Guardian Dragon, I'll just say that. That's probably where all the ill will towards the area spawned from, is when I did have that run where I died versus the Guardian Dragon, like, had to fight the trolls. And they have a lot of hit points, so they just take a while to kill, and it was kind of irritating. But we're going to move on now to fight even more dragons, or you don't have to fight them, but this next area is called Dragon Aerie. And if you want upgrade materials, this is a great area to use your bonfire sticks on, because there are a ton of crystal lizards. I think there's 10 or 11 crystal lizards in this area. So if you want a ton of upgrade materials, like, you know, Twinkling Titanite and stuff like that, you just go to Dragon Aerie. And also we'll get a super handy item from the Emerald Herald here, which is going to be the Aged Feather. And you can use that to teleport to bonfires an unlimited amount of times. So if you ever want to get to a bonfire and you're out of Homeward Bones, you're in luck, because you no longer need them. And, well, speaking of bonfires, we'll also get a bonfire here, which is nice. No, I very well may die in this area just because there are dragons in this area, and they can very easily kill you with their fire breath. So I'll try not to die, but just be warned that it is a possibility. You also want to watch out. Another really, really good reason to have a bow And I love having bows in this game. Like, they don't do very much damage. If you do like PvP online, or you know, summon phantoms online, you almost never see people using a bow. I mean, come to think of it, I've done quite a bit of you know, online play, and I don't think I've ever seen anyone using a bow, either in PvP or just like a summoned phantom. So here's the first crystal lizard. This is by far the easiest one to get. He'll drop Twinkling Titanite and a Pale Stone. Pale Stone you can use to remove infusions on your weapons. So like, if you screwed up like I did once, I gave the Manslayer Katana a poison infusion, and then I realized that was a horrible idea later on. You remove that with Pale Stone, but I think this is the first Pale Stone you come across in the game, so you have to wait till really late in the game. So we're going to run through the area here. You can make this jump. It's possible. I've tried like 20 times and I've died every time, but you can jump over here, and that bridge leads to the next area. So if you can make this jump here, it's possible. I've seen it done. I've just never been able to replicate it myself. You can just be done with the area already. But we're not going to do that. We're going to play it the safe way, because I think there's a lot more fun things to watch than me falling and dying like 20 times. So there's another exploding zombie here. And these zombies actually don't damage you, but what they can do is they can either blow you off the ledge, and you're going to die from that fall, or they can also, they also damage your equipment. They like break your equipment a ton every single time they hit you. So you get hit by a couple of these exploding zombies, all your equipment will break, and then you have to go back to Majula to repair it, and it's irritating. Or use repair powders, I guess, if it doesn't break all the way. Another zombie there. I think there's one more zombie that we'll run across. So, I mean, I just did this area very recently on a playthrough, so I kind of have it all down, I guess you could say. One other thing I found out recently is we're going to be rolling through some dragon eggs that you'll see, and these dragon eggs actually affect how long you have to get across the final bridge before a dragon starts breathing fire at you. I thought that was kind of interesting, but if you break like a ton of dragon eggs, you might be in trouble. I don't know. I've never had the dragon breathe fire at me personally, because I always just kind of leg it across the bridge, but it is possible. This dragon is sleeping, and he will not wake up. I would really recommend... Oh, crap. I forgot about this zombie. I would really recommend not waking this dragon up, because he'll make the next area a huge pain. He can breathe fire through this tunnel, and the fire can come all the way through the tunnel. It can hit you even if you're standing up on this ledge here. So this dragon, I've always killed him just to be safe. I don't think you have to kill him. And it does take a while. It's not going to be like immediate. We're doing like 250 damage per arrow though, which is pretty good. This is like, he has a lot of health, and dragons, I think they have a lot of defense too, but you know, anyway, it's hard to do damage to them. So he will back off here, and he'll actually back off to a range where some spells won't hit him, so you actually need to have a bow and arrow in order to kill this guy, or just be patient, wait for him to move back in and then use spells. But it is annoying to kill this guy with magic, and of course you can use melee, but it's like fighting the Guardian Dragon, that last boss that we fought just a couple of minutes ago. These dragons are just like that Guardian Dragon. I think they have a little bit less health, and their attacks might do less damage, but other than that, they're very similar to that boss fight. So if you want to go through that again with melee, I mean, they're not going to fly up and like hang on the wall and breathe fire in a huge... Well, they will breathe fire, but they don't have the attack where they hang up against the wall. But there we go. Okay, he's dead. It's just, you know, take my word for it. It's way easier with range than it is with melee. Alright, we're going to try to get this crystal lizard here. And we did get him. So that's perfect. I've actually never had this crystal lizard before. 2 large shards and a titanite slab, so that's handy. If you're upgrading like a bunch of weapons to +10, you probably want that. And there's another crystal lizard, as you can see over here. So we're only going to get 3 crystal lizards, but there are a lot more than that. So if you have the patience to like kill all the dragons, you can get a ton of upgrade materials from all these crystal lizards, and then of course you can burn a bonfire ascetic and get even more if that's what you're in for. But you know what? We're already done with this area. Well, just about. We have like a couple more bridges to cross, but that was Dragon Aerie. The main purpose for the area, again, is just to get upgrade materials, and there's really no other reason to do it. Unless you just really like fighting dragons for some reason. But now we can come over this bridge and come to the Dragon Shrine. And hopefully we'll get through this really quickly, like on the first attempt, because this is the last of my, let's just say, really hated areas in this game. So as long as we can get through this Dragon Shrine, and the bow is going to be a lifesaver here. I'll show you in just a second, like, how good this bow is. Like, this area is so hard using melee. It's, like, impossible. It's not literally impossible, but it's It's very, very annoying. So we'll go through the Aldia conversation. It has something to do with a DLC, or something like that. And then we'll rest at this bonfire. Just because the zombie did hit us once, so our robe is probably pretty close to breaking at this point. So I'll kill the first guy with melee just to, you know, kind of like test the waters on how good this katana would potentially be if I wanted to use that. So their attacks are very similar to, oh my goodness, almost 400 damage per attack. That's actually really good. I'm surprised. Okay, well, we took out that guy pretty easily. And we're going to run in here because there is a chest in here. But in the future, you mostly want to use range here just because it does make your life a lot easier. Bonfire aesthetic, not bad. There are a lot of bonfire aesthetics later in the game. It's almost like people at late game might want to farm areas and stuff and farm bosses. If you want souls, you either use bonfire aesthetics at the Rotten. I like using them at the Rotten because I think the Rotten is super easy. And it's the easiest and quickest Great Soul boss to fight, so that's my personal favorite soul farming area. But there is a boss that will be coming up to probably in the next episode that I think is the most commonly used boss if you want to burn bonfire aesthetics and get souls, and we'll show that off fairly soon. So the reason why I got dark arrows is these guys are actually susceptible to dark arrows. If you use regular arrows, like regular physical damage arrows, you do almost no damage, like you hit 100s. Lightning arrows also work really well against these guys. I just bought dark arrows because the lightning arrows are a lot more, the guy who sells lightning arrows anyway, is a lot more annoying to access than the guy who sells dark arrows. Oh yeah, I didn't talk about the Staff of Wisdom. Okay, so that Staff of Wisdom I just picked up, where I used the Pharaoh's Lockstone. That's the best staff in the game for casting regular spells, so yeah, if you're into that, go get that Staff of Wisdom, yo. Alright, so we're going to take out this guy, and I don't think he does pursue you down the stairs. I was going to say yeah, he doesn't pursue you very far down the stairs. So one thing you can do is you can just completely cheese this guy if you have a ranged weapon. You just chill out down here, you wait for him to go back to his spot, and he's like, oh, okay, he must be gone because I can't see him, right? That's how it works. Oh, never mind. Never mind, he didn't quite lower his shield. We're waiting for him to lower his shield because if you try to shoot with his shield up, you only do 40 damage, so it's kind of counterproductive. This is taking too long. I'm just gonna... Oh, that annoying mage guy. We'll get our revenge soon, don't worry. So we're just gonna try to get behind this fool. If he would cooperate. And again, his swings are like really similar to the old knights from Hyde's Tower. And we can take him out and then get completely destroyed by this fool up here. But now we can finally take this guy out as well, which is great because when I first came through here, I was like, why do I keep getting these like random explosions that just destroy me? I don't know what's going on. Well, it's this guy, and he's kind of a jerk, but he's now dead. Okay, so there are a few other things we can do here. Let's take out this guy. I'm gonna just let you know right now, there are quite a few items in this area that I don't think I'm gonna grab, just because, I'll be honest, there are some really annoying enemies and stuff. If you want to grab all the items, I'm taking these guys out at range, again, just because it's kind of difficult to fight two of them at once. They do attack really quickly. They don't have a lot of space in between their attacks where you can actually get shots off, so it's just a lot nicer to kill them this way. And I love having a bow just for, you know, this exact purpose. Okay, see, look, one of them is already dead. Now we can take out the other one. And hopefully the other one won't, like, raise his shield and cause us to do no damage. We can stand right here, and hopefully he'll come down the stairs, and then we can take him out a lot easier. I've seen this guy come down the stairs before. I know he can do it. I'm just like, come on, he doesn't come down the stairs. Yeah, he just goes right back. He's like, whatever. He must have left. Come down the stairs so I can shoot you, please. Alright. We're gonna charge him now. We've had enough of this. You're done, fool. I'm gonna get my katana out, which I'm really digging. It does a lot of damage. Dodge roll his attacks, which is why I leveled up adaptability some more, as it really helps. And we got a drop somewhere. Yeah, Dragon Charm. Okay. These guys can drop weapons and armor as well, and Drake Keeper weapons and armor. And the Drake Keeper sword, which is a sword they drop, and I attempted to farm for that sword once, and I used you know, a bonfire ascetic and a couple hours of my time and did not get it, and I was kind of sore after that. But it's one of the better swords in the game. This is also a pretty good soul farming spot because these guys, if you're wearing like all of the gear in the game that increases the amount of souls you get for killing enemies, they give a good amount of souls. It's like 4,000 to 5,000 souls per kill, so if you're into farming souls and you don't want to necessarily kill bosses for it, this is another good area. Super easy if you have either a good ranged weapon like I do now, or if you have spells, you can take these guys out. They're like really weak versus lightning spear is one spell that works pretty well. I think regular magic probably would work okay as well. I haven't tried it, but I'm sure it has its merits. Alright, so we're going to take out this last guy, and I always just do this area with range. I tried this area once with melee. It made me rage quit the game for a couple hours, so from now on, I exclusively use range here, and it's mostly because of these golden guys with, you know, like, I don't know, some kind of stench dripping off of their armor. I don't know what that is. It looks kind of nasty. It looks like they haven't washed in a while, but, yeah, these guys here are very annoying to deal with if you are trying to use melee, just because they swing really fast, they dodge roll a lot of your attacks. They're like, you know, PvP enemies, and in terms of like annoyance level. So, but you can come back here, and this door is like your safe spot. As long as you're inside this doorway, I don't think anything on these steps here will chase you. Again, like super easy to deal with range. You know, just if you're having trouble later on in the game with any of the areas that I've shown or any of the bosses that I've shown, you know, get a bow. That's how you beat it. You know, or use magic. Magic works pretty well. Like dark magic destroys these guys. I've used that before, but a bow is just, it's nice, it's simple, it's kind of fun using a bow, just because it's kind of fun like having to aim and hit enemies from distance, even though it doesn't do as much damage as, you know, melee or magic, but it's still kind of fun. Alright, so we're going to try to dodge roll out of the way when this guy uses his attacks. Just be really careful. His attacks do a lot of damage. He looks kind of small, you know. He doesn't look like he'd be as intimidating as those massive giant Drake Keepers, but you would be wrong if you think these guys are not intimidating, because they do a ton of damage. And they also have almost no poise, which means that, you know, when you hit them with arrows, they get staggered, essentially. So there are 3 final guys, but 2 of them have shields, and they'll hold up their shields constantly, so they're really annoying to deal with. So what we're going to do instead of fighting them is just run past. Okay, run. I don't want to get backstabbed. That can happen, so I want to be careful here. Okay, we made it past the door, and that's safety. This guy will not follow you into this area. See? He just turns around. And there's a huge dragon. You can fight this guy. He's an interesting fight, I'll just say that. He has like 250,000 health. He takes, you know, 10-20 minutes to kill, depending on how much damage your weapon does. So we're not going to be doing that. But we did get the thing from him. I wasn't really paying attention. We got an item from him that we needed in order to complete the game, essentially. So what we have left in the game is 3 boss fights, and then we're done with the game, unless we want to do DLC. But for the main part of the game anyway, we're done after those last 3 boss fights. So I'll see you guys next time, but you know, we're very close to being at the finish line here. So yeah, thanks for watching, and farewell.